I saw what the city council used to do in Nairobi, building these fabricated stalls on the roadsides, and then I thought, okay, which is the easiest way of doing it without having to look for material, and I went looking on the internet, and I saw containers being used as homes, I think, and then as shops, small shops. This a mobile kitchen. There is a place I saw. I think it's somewhere in Australia. Somebody had a mobile kitchen, which was a container. I thought, okay, the same concept can do in shops.
That was 2012, but Davis Sokoto got everything he needed to make his idea a reality in 2019. He invested close to 5 million shillings in setting up the business premises in Kiserian in the outskirts of Nairobi. Davis now has 44 stalls made out of shipping containers.
What I have here are 40-footers. A 40-footer is going from as much as 300K. That is the container without doing anything. So you can do that, bring them and have them cut on site, and everything is done on site. But for me, I went to Alpha Containers and told them I need stalls. We agreed on a price. They were selling for me about 580, 530 one container. I did the math, I needed 8. So I just gave them the money, and they did everything. Transportation, like from Syokimau, it cost me about 35,000 shillings per truck. So these are 8 trucks that brought these containers.
Davis is among entrepreneurs who have joined a trend that started around 5 years ago. Today, containers are used to build stalls, offices, and even homes away from the traditional brick and mortar or the timber and iron sheets that used to be the materials of choice for the construction of kiosks. With the containers now available, the cost of putting up a semi-permanent structure are lower.
If a container costs around 300K, 320, so that will give you a rough estimate of about 200 or even 150, because now this one, it's the company that did it for me, so that means they put even their markup in there. But if I was to do it personally, probably with the wiring and everything, around, it's that 200, around 200K. Yeah, because the wiring, if you want quality wires, they are not cheap. And also the labor that comes with it, and the people who are doing the welding, grinding, cutting, and fixing. For the floor, the containers come already with a wooden floor, which is, you don't have to do anything with it, unless if you're building a house. If you're building a house, that now putting in tiles or whatever you want to do with it. But for these stalls, I didn't do anything on the floor.
If you want to buy a container, you can either import or buy locally. And there has been a gradual increase in the number of containers coming into Kenya over the last 5 years. According to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, containers imports in 2015 to 2019 increased from 1 million units in 2015 to 1.4 million in 2019. There was a slowdown in 2020 because of the pandemic, and the Kenya Ports Authority reported this year that between January and March 2021, the Port of Mombasa witnessed increased volumes in container traffic, registering 389,515 of them against 340,812 in a similar period in 2020. Most imports are from China, followed by India, the UAE, Japan, Saudi Arabia, USA, and South Africa. And while some of these containers may find their way back out into the sea for exports, many remain back in Kenya. George Masila is an architect with the Fortunes Architect Limited. In his work across Kenya, Uganda, and Rwanda, he has noted that the popularity of containers has not waned despite the increase in prices because of the shortage that came with a slowdown in shipping brought about by the pandemic.
20 foot right now is around 250,000 Kenya shillings. It's about 2,500. The price has spiked. Pre-COVID, we were buying them for about 180, 185. 40-foot container, we were getting them at about 250, 280. Now they're about 380. Because of COVID, it has affected a lot of logistics businesses, even manufacturing, even the demand. So they've become fewer in the market, thus a bit more expensive. But we are expecting the prices to stabilize. Containers, as we all know, transport all manner of things. Some could be transporting toxic material, some could be transporting, items that are harmful to people's health. So it is important, even for the person who is bringing them in or choosing them, to be able to ask the right questions to the suppliers and find out exactly what they were used for before, and avoid containers that were transporting harmful or chemical originating materials.
You need to know what to watch out for when buying a container.
Always buy from people who are known to deal in containers, or go to an inland container depot and buy it from a company that does freight. Then there you're dealing with authentic people. But just don't go on the roadside and buy see a container there and say you want to buy. No, you're putting yourself at risk. Containers have logbooks, so by the time you're finishing your purchase, you should make sure that the person who's selling to you gives you a logbook.
The licensing authorities at the national and county level still view container setups as temporary structures. This means less levies compared to the many approvals needed to put up a building or a home. Conversion into homes has increasingly become a good retirement for containers that have reached their final destination or being retired. And there are interesting designs out there, like this one we found in Sagana. And with the increasing appetite for container, Masila says the demand can only go up.
It's quite exciting if you can carry your or take your home whatever location you want. Mm-hmm. It's quite exciting, really, if you look at it that way. Yeah. Something to transport. To me, that flexibility is what today's world is all about. People are moving away from rigidity, getting to be as flexible as possible, because the world is changing that way.